What's good, guys? Welcome to today's episode. Now I've got quite an interesting topic and a topic that's close to my heart because I'm a bit of a hooligan at heart, and that is today's video all being about Ducati and their Hypermotard lineup.
You've heard about all the stuff you know about. It's on the way to Doyen Can. Left turn for Doyen Can. Take that left turn, keep going on the right. You see this hut right here. It's got a little bit of ivy on it. Hello. Wait, okay, alright. Oh, fucking hell. Okay then. How's it going, everyone? It's Motor Man. Again, another episode for you. And I'd say come knock on my door sometime if you want to come visit Motor Man, but there ain't no door. I'm sweating like a freaking hippopotamus right now, I'll tell you that much. I want to, rip it off again. It's you, man, come ride with me. Take you some places.
Now, my journey and my first ever experience with Ducati and their Hypermotard lineup was with the 821. Now, I rode the 821 5 years ago, went up a mountain in northern Thailand, and I fell in love.
This is a better bike. This is the best bike I've ever rode.
Cut to a more recent time, and I actually was fortunate enough to be given Hypermotard 950 by Ducati Thailand in Bangkok, and I went from Bangkok down the coast and enjoyed 2 days on the Hypermotard 950. Damn, I mean, to say that was like epic is like, I mean, that's just obvious, isn't it? That's like saying that this phone is black. Do you know what I mean? That's obvious. You know what I mean? Apart from the fact that it did light up when I put it down. So if you're looking at buying one of these Hypermotards, this is the video for you. So let's dive in, get into the details, get into the crankcase or the pistons, and I'm really not going to break it down in a mechanical way, but yeah, let's do that. So, considering the 821 is the first one I rode, and it's the older in the kind of lineup, and for the record, we are not going into like the 1100 old Hypermotards. This is Thailand. They basically don't exist here. So yeah, back to the 821. So we're gonna start with the 821. The 821, I really like the 821. I mean, if you check a couple of my videos that have just come out recently, I've been fortunate enough to ride the 821 Hypermotard again, or Hypermotard, and quite frankly, it's a really nice bike. Probably one of the main reasons why I want to make this video is because there's some big changes that have happened since the 821 to the 950, but focusing mainly just on the 821, it's a bit rough down low. It's very like, you can, it's just a characteristic of the engine, but it's obviously built to be a hooligan bike. It smooths out. In my opinion, specifically the 821, even more so than the 950, really is a mid-range bike. They call it a Hypermotard like it's a motard, but you would in your mind almost assume it being a motard is going to be very punchy from down low, so as soon as you're accelerating, it's flying forward. It's not really like that. The 821 definitely has a kind of a few thousand RPM at the beginning, say 2,000-3,000 RPM at the beginning, where it's building a bit of power, but the mid-range is more than enough. The mid-range is very strong. It's a very powerful bike. It pulls hard. Now with the 821 as well as the 950, there is a bit of a difference when it comes to seating, ergonomics, comfort, and all-around componentry. It's a really nice combination, man. I like it. And the seat is way better as well.
It's much more flat and kind of direct. It's much more motard rather than like a scoop. The old one had a scoop, so you sat in the scoop.
All of the hypermotards are really good in this way. Oh, and by the way, we're not talking about any SPs in this video because in Thailand, the SPs aren't for sale. So what Ducati have done really well, and what I noticed when I rode the 821, was you're getting top spec brakes, you know, Brembo M50s, you know, throughout the whole lineup of these modern day hypermotards. You're getting quality suspension. The suspension is Sash suspension and really good. Really impressed with the suspension on this bike and really impressed with the positioning. If you're looking at buying any of these hypermotards, Ducati seem to really know what they're doing when it comes to chassis and body placement, if that makes sense. Like how the bike is, where you sit on the bike versus where the wheels are. There's some magic here with the wheelbase and where you sit, because when you're in the corners, like I have said, and if you see some of my recent videos again on the 821, I've just reiterated this fact. It's one of the best handling bikes I've personally have ever tried, and I've tried a lot of bikes. I really believe the 821 is phenomenally good handling bike, and so is the 950. Now the 821 comes with all your riding modes. It comes with fully adjustable ABS, traction control, ABS which you can turn off. You've got a nice dash. It's a nice, it's not color, it's none of that TFT jazz, you know. It is a motorcycle. It's not a fucking new age color Tamagotchi or some shit, even though this dash is kind of like a Tamagotchi more than a, you know, proper TFT. The 821 really does have all the bells and whistles, but it's all the bells and whistles of 5 years ago, and I guess it is about 5 years old. The power output's around 110 horsepower, and even though I would caveat a little bit of disappointment in terms of the outright instant torque, you know what I mean? I own an MT-09, which is serious for instant torque. Once you get past that little spot and the little bit where it's rough, it goes mental in the mid-range. So it really is a blast to ride. If you ride an 821 and you go to the mountains and it's a twisty day, I'm guaranteeing you right now, you're gonna have one of the best days on a motorcycle ever. So the 950. How does that, we'll get onto how it compares, but what's different? What do you get on the 950 that you don't get on the 821? Well, you're getting updated looks. It definitely looks better.
I just saw the headlights in the rear of a pickup.
You know, you're getting a kind of shorter rear, kind of more compact looking front. Nicer TFT display, that kind of modernized
then you hold it down.
TFT display, the way it has like the picture of the bike you're riding, and you can adjust between track and road kind of riding modes. You can adjust the wheelie control, you can adjust traction control. Unfortunately, you can't turn the ABS off on the new 950. You can make the ABS as low as possible to let the back slide, so it's kind of like a supermoto mode, but you can't turn it fully off like you can on the 821.
Hey. Did I catch that? Oh, I don't think I caught that. You can actually feel the slide working. So I've got ABS on one, which lets you back the bike in. Yeah, raw, that's proper working, you know. Oh shit. I just slid around the whole thing. I'm not even joking, that's mad. Oh, yo, watch. Yeah, man, you can feel that, you know. You'd have to go have a few goes at it. Yeah, because I could feel it working when it came out, and then it went back, and then it worked again and went back. You gotta just go faster and just trust that it's gonna stop you at 10 degrees perfectly. That's pretty dope though, man. I mean, that's like a safe way to have fun.
The 950, the weight is very similar to the 821, and you have a tiny bit more horsepower. I think it's about 4 horsepower more. Now, this right here is the most important part of this video. And the thing is probably the biggest reason why I'm making this video itself is the key difference between the 850 and the 821 is engine compression, right? The compression ratio. Now, I'm no mechanic. I'm no, like, I can't tell you loads about engines by any means, but I've rode both of these bikes. And I'm not one of those YouTubers that just talks about shit and hasn't even had an experience riding it. I've rode both of these bikes, and the compression in the engine, you can tell like black versus white. It is so clear. 821 has this kind of, it doesn't spin up fast as you accelerate. The 950, you just give it a little bit and it's boh, boh, boh. Whereas the 821, it's really and then it comes afterwards. There's a stutter in the 821 that the 950 does not have. The compression in the engine of the 950 is such a big difference because it really lends to it feeling a lot more like a motard. Now, this was something I could really tell. You could really feel how much snappier the 950 was.
We are here with the 950, Hypermotard 950, and I just started it up and rolled it out here for a second, and my god, does it feel different. It feels so different. I'm surprised how different it feels. Like, even the startup, it feels way more motardy, if that's a word. I think I might have just made up a word.
And when I later found out that the compression was kind of boosted on the new model, it was really clear that that's a super important thing. Quite frankly, this alone would make me buy the new one over the old one. The 950 has a 13:3:1 compression ratio, and the 821 has a 12:8:1 ratio. Now, if you're looking at buying a 939, the model in between the 950 and the 821, the 939 also has a 13:3:1 compression ratio too, and I believe the engine is almost, I think it might be exactly the same because I think it's the same engine. So this is a big enough of a thing that I would recommend you buy the 939 or the 950 over the 821 because it was so apparent. And if you've rode a proper motard before, you'll be aware that it's all about instant boom, 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 boom. You know, you can just boom and wheelie instantly. That's what motards are all about. And that extra compression just gave it the snappiness that it deserves and that it should have.
I think this one feels like a motard. The others kind of felt like a big CC road bike. Is it the ultimate motard? I think it might be. So we're at Bangsend now.
Now, I do also believe that with the compression difference and the up in CC displacement to the 939 and the 950 over the 821, Ducati were claiming boosted, if I remember correctly, it was quite a while ago now, around a 10 to 20% increase in mid-range torque. I don't know about that, and I wouldn't say you can feel the extra 4 horsepower of the 950, say, versus the 821. The difference isn't huge in terms of outright power. You race them back to back and it would be really marginal. But again, that compression and everything I've mentioned, it really does make it worth going for the 939 or 950. Also, the 950 comes with a hydraulic clutch, so it was a very, very easy clutch pull. Now, the 821, which I actually do have downstairs right now, has a super easy clutch pull itself, but hydraulic clutches are just better. Like, it's just fact, I think, to be honest. Every time I've used a hydraulic clutch, you're aware that it's really nice. So it doesn't really matter all that much which one you decide to go for. They're all great bikes, and if you're into riding bikes for pure fun, I can guarantee you right now, you'll be super happy with the 821, 939 or 950. I mean, by the sounds of it, you'd probably be happy potentially if you wanted a little bit more of an industrial feeling by going for one of the old 1100s.
Sound is just ungodly as well. It's one of the better sounding bikes I've ever rode, that's for sure. If you don't prioritize fun in your ride, then don't look at this bike. But if you do, definitely check it out. See that there? That's a police box. You know what that means? It's wheelie time.
Alright guys, well, basically rode a day and 3/4. I've got another quarter back to Bangkok to give it back to the dealer. Has a real motard feeling that the old bikes didn't have. Really feels like a motard down low because it's kind of poppy. It's a beautiful machine and it does everything impeccably. You know, you see the modes, the way you can fine tune it, the wheelie control, the slide thing was epic, man. It's been phenomenal. In my opinion, it's way better than the old one. I think I've made my point clear when I say which one I would choose. I'd probably pick up a cheaper 939 second hand or go for a 950 brand new if you can afford it. They're great bikes, so if you're looking at buying one, I hope this video has helped you. Again, this video has not been taken into account SP models. You know, if you oh my god, the SP is so much better, man, you gotta have Ohlins. You're probably right. Like, I think the SP is probably the one to go for. You know, maybe the old version in the SP is better than the new version in a non-SP. Whatever. Thailand has no SPs, okay? This is being shot in Thailand, and yeah, we don't get the SP variant here. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and again, remember, doesn't matter what you ride as long as you ride. Every Hypermotard's a good bike, but if you ride a 110cc scooter, it's fine. If you ride a unicycle and you just use a plastic bag that you fart into to propel you up the street, it's totally fine. I don't mind either. So make sure you subscribe, click that notification bell. I will have some more Hypermotard videos coming to the channel. I'm hoping I can actually get to the little racetrack, go-kart track and rip on the 821 downstairs. I will see you in the next episode. Motorman out. I don't need nobody. I don't need nobody, baby. It's you. Do you reckon the people in Italy say hypermotard rather than hypermotard? Do they pronounce the H as like an I? If you're Italian, please let me know. Had a great time when I went up. Yo, what's good, guys? I don't really know which one is the good one. I don't really know. I have to take a mini, take another, take a one, take a two, because I don't know which one is the good one. Sure, yeah, whatever, man. Take 554.